Hey everybody, it's Maddie from CraftyLore, and today I have some items to share with you from Amanda at Your Creative Studio. She sent me a subscription box, and I want to be able to show you what I received and how I incorporate them in something that I made. So here I am opening up the box, and I find her little cute thank you card with butterflies. Who doesn't like butterflies? And there is some beautiful stamped butchered paper that I put out onto my desk, and lo and behold, there are butterflies galore. I am just enthralled with this box. I save all of the plastic wrapping, all of the acetate material used to package all of these items that you see, and I do use them in what I make at the very end. But here are some beautiful vintage labels that you can stamp on, write on, and I do use several of them in this little project that I did for Amanda. And I think, yeah, those ones that says a number on it, those little red rectangular ones, those are my favorite out of the whole bunch. Next, I pull up this little pouch containing a bookmark, a three-dimensional bookmark. I did something just like this in my bead journal that I made for Andrea. I show you guys how I use this one later on towards the end of this video. And inside these little brown pouches are some stamps. There's 3 of them. They have with a large size, medium to small, and they stamp out very clear, beautiful stamps. The only problem is that I have to use like double-sided tape to prop it onto some acrylic board or whatever you call it in order to help me stamp on my paper, because I don't have like a true stamping block, so I had to make my own stamping block. But despite all that, it still stamps beautifully clear, very detailed in the wings. And inside this box I find a variety of beautiful butterflies and moss in different colors, and they're just so pretty. The only thing I don't care so much for is that the fact that I have to fussy cut around the wings, but it doesn't bother me at all, to be honest with you. I love butterflies, and I used it in several pages of this project I did towards the end, you guys will see. And I was just thinking that you could use these to like make little chandelier charms, and I should show one day how to do it. And these transparent butterfly stickers would be perfect for that, because I was just thinking as I'm watching this video and doing my voiceover that what I should have done for my project, and I'll still do it, I just won't be doing it on camera, is that you could actually cut the wings off these butterflies and then put a tiny little hole or an eyelet. I'm not certain if an eyelet would work because these are pretty thin, but you could put a hole through the very tips of the wings and attach string to it, or attach what do you call those rings, the jump rings to them, and make really pretty wing charms for your journals or for your tassels. And here I'm thumbing through this really pretty butterfly stick-it note that I use strictly for collaging. And in this package you'll find some really heavyweight cardstock type ephemera pieces. I think they're like 60 GSM or more. And I show later on towards the end of this video how I incorporated this into my design. I put eyelets through one of them to use like as a hanging charm. I used the wings of several of them to make like these really pretty wing tabs that I inked the edges with gold. So I had a lot of fun playing around with Amanda's subscription box that she sent to me. Inside this postcard package I find beautiful stamps of butterflies, wings, of nature, anything that you can think of that butterflies would be attracted to. And instead of just using these in the traditional sense of just slapping them on paper, I created charms like these wind chime charms, because when I was making this bead journal for Andrea, I heard my neighbor's wind chimes, and I immediately was inspired to make her some hanging charms in her book. So I show later on what I mean towards the end of this video. Here you see me thumbing through some vintage book pages that show all these really pretty graphs, and I also use those. And I think I'm almost done with what I find in the box. Here are some beautiful butterfly stickers. They don't really have that like white edge around them, so I don't really have to fussy cut them. I don't think I fussy cut them at all, actually. Oh yeah, you see it's pretty transparent, so you could just use them as is without having to worry about seeing so much of the white rims around the design. And then here's some more heavy weighted paper that it must be 60 GSM or more. It just I use my alcohol distress inks, oxide inks, to color the backs of these, because when you turn them over they're completely starch white. And you know me, I don't care so much for blank blank pages. And the last piece of the box are some mulberry pages with all of these little plant elements inside. And I believe now I'm going to show you guys how I incorporate all of Amanda's themes into this project. I want to use the butcher paper and these two little envelopes that held the stamps. I measure everything out, then I'll use my tearing roller to tear off the excess. And because this butcher paper has a waxy interior, I decided to use double-sided tape to help keep it onto the envelopes. Now the yellow and brown looks a bit dull to me, so I decided to brighten it up with some gesso before I collage on it using Amanda's ephemera pieces. And everything that you see here, it all belongs from that subscription box, with the exception of a flower sticker that I used from a purchase I made months ago. These really pretty little daisies and whatnot. So yeah, just thought that was really beautiful. And then I go ahead and decide to work on the front cover of this. I'm using Amanda's thank you note or thank you card as a tuck spot, and I'm just cutting up the label to size so that way it doesn't obscure the beautiful wings of my butterfly. And then I pull out some beautiful antique gold muslin that I want to use for the spine, and I gather some coffee dyed paper for this little book. And I'm going to go ahead and incorporate some of the pages that Amanda provided in her box. And so what I did in order to make these like complete pages, I hinged them together using masking tape. So if you do this, you just want to make certain you have about 1/8 of an inch of space between those pages before you apply your masking tape, or you can use cloth or whatever it is that you want to do. You can use like strips of paper if you want to. You just want at least 1/8 of an inch of space, so that way it's easier to fold your pages together evenly without losing the integrity of the width of your paper. And if you do use masking tape, you want to make certain that you go ahead and apply another strip of masking tape over the first one so there's nothing sticking, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Next, I decided to ink up this heavier cardstock that Amanda provided by using my oxide distress inks. I used mustard seed, tethered rose, and I believe I also used spice marmalade or mahogany. But it just came out really pretty. I loved making this. I haven't done it in so long, so I was a little upset that I forgot. Usually when I do that, I gesso my pages and I entirely space, even though the gesso was sitting right in front of me. But this is pretty heavy cardstock, so I wasn't really worried about it. I like the effect of the gesso before I apply any of my distress inks on there, so not necessary to gesso everything. But I love to do it, so yeah. Anyways, once I finished with everything, I set those pages to the side to dry, and I clean off my board, and then I begin to work on my wind chime charm. So I'm just cutting out a square because my idea is to encase one of these beautiful vellum butterflies inside this hanging tag that I'm going to be making. So I decide on a purple butterfly, and I decide to fold this butterfly over because I wanted this butterfly to look almost as similar to the one that you see on that tag, to the blue one, as if they're both flying away from each other. So I then decide on how I'm going to encase it, and I decide on the packaging that came in with Amanda's ephemera pieces. So I just cut the packaging to size, and then double tape here is my friend for everything. I just double-sided tape everything. I double-sided tape the butterfly to the packaging, and then I use double-sided tape for the packaging to the actual tag. And then I cut a square to the opposite tag, and then I glued everything together. So yeah, it came out very beautifully. I can't wait to show you guys how it looks towards the end. And then you guys will see some the stamps there. And I'm going to, oh, before I mention that, you guys need to get this gold ink pen for gilding. It's a Japanese pen. It's called Deco Color. I love this pen so much. I just bought this last week on Amazon. Wonderful pen. It's better than, let me see if I have my other pen here. Did I throw? No, it's better than the 18 karat gold leafing pen. I don't really care for the 18 karat gold leafing pen, just doesn't last as long. But this Japanese pen is just wonderful. So anyways, I'm cutting my stamps down to size, and I want to back the stamps to the other side of it. So there's like an image on either side. If you were to flip it over, you'll see something. You're not going to just see stark white. And then I just use this leafing pen, I guess you should call it, to frame the postage stamps, because I'm going to put eyelets through them, because I want everything to hang together pretty. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I just ink around that so there's no bits of white peeking through, and use my crocodile to puncture the holes into it. And then I decide on the black eyelets, because just the black, pinks, and golds I just thought went very well. It would go better than just using the gold eyelets. And then I'm going to pull out my pliers, and I'll go ahead and attach my jump rings to the tags. So I misjudged the size of this. I was going to use 4 of the stamps. I realized it was too large, so I only ended up using the 2 stamps. But those other stamps with the eyelets on it, you could use those as charms. So my whole thing is thinking a little bit outside of the box. You don't have to use postage stamps the way they're meant to be used. You don't just need to slap it wherever. You could just use them like as charms. So here I am wanting to put this on the inside flap of my end page. And I'm just doing some measurements. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys how I decorated some of the inside pages of this mini book, but this video would have been a lot longer. And so if you could see, there's some butterfly tabs on the butterfly wing tabs on the very ends of these, and I just gilded it with that leafing pen, and it just came out so beautifully. I just love how this looks, and I'll be using this in one of my in a nature book that I have planned in the works. So yeah, so here's that little wind chime charm thingy that I made. Look how pretty that is. It's so pretty. It's much prettier in person. And this book isn't fully embellished the way I normally do things. I did all of this in under 2 hours. The video editing part took a lot longer than this. So, oh yeah, here's the bookmark that I was telling you guys about, the 3-dimensional bookmark. Very exactly like the bookmarks I made for Andrea, except I used my bee flower. You guys would get that if you saw the video, my bee flower. But it's the same principle. You just cut a square or a circle, and then you encase like a flower or whatever little object you want behind that with acetate or some type of sheer fabric, and then you glue everything together. And so yeah, and then I just use some of the stamps and stickers and some of the pages I tore up and just collaged everything together, all from Amanda's Your Creative Studio box. So I think this came out really pretty, and I can't wait to embellish on it some more, like the way I usually normally do things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys liked this. I'm sorry it's been taking so long to put things out. Quite busy, have a lot of things going on, and I will explain sometime in another video. Right now I'm working on a massive book for a friend in Finland. She's been very patient. I want to thank you, Leah, for being so patient with me. I promise you it's almost done, and it will be worth the wait. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.